So welcome all, and thanks for this opportunity in the first place. And also, it's a short and interesting presentation, maybe for 5 6 minutes. Um, and this is going to talk about the technology side of the things. So what we see here is one of the first power stations back from 1882. And what is illustrating is you can see a generator. The characteristic of the generator is basically it's a rotating machine. If you kind of decode it. And ever since, for more than 100 years, it is these rotating machines that are shaping our power systems and providing both our energy needs and our stability needs. And we know what is happening in this energy transition that we are replacing, we are adding more and more power electronics into this complex power network. And we also know that it requires a kind of a delicate dance between the power electronics and the rotating machines in order to guarantee the stability in the overall power system. And which means we need the assistance of power electronics to offer stability to the grid. And the question is also a very global question, and every operator in the world, what you can see, they are chasing this answer to how to extract higher stability from the inverter-based generations. And we are also searching for that answers, and we also have our share of problem, like what we are experiencing in our big RE complexes, where we are losing generation because of frequency trips, oscillations, or over voltage switchings. To mitigate this, we already have in the first place what is called the grid codes, the rules by which the power electronics should play by. But despite those rules, we are facing these stability issues. The reason could be the lack of, or the power electronics are offering only a suboptimal support to the grid. It could be because of the poor hardware selection, or the topology of the plant is wrong, or the simulation benchmarks versus the real world testing are not as accurate, or up to the mark, or it's not ready to ensure 100% real world compliance. But during this incident in India, we also saw, or I mean, we from SMA, we have multi-gigawatt of plants across India, and we have not received any complaints of tripping during this particular issue what India is facing. And that could be because of the reason that we have upgraded all our fleets from 2013 grid code to 2023 grid code with the no hardware changes, just the parameter or the software settings. And also we have the extended capability to withstand during the fault, or which the reasons why the plants, the RE plants in India are tripping when there is a stability issue in the grid. But everyone has this compliance. Everyone has on paper that they can comply. But how do we say that just because we upgraded our grid code compliance, that our inverters or our RE plants did not trip? That's the proof we are looking for. The proof we can say we can learn from the similar incidents, the same kind of frequency oscillations, what happened in West Murray in Australia, that kind of curtailed half of the PV plants or the RE plants in the region. There, again, the same inverters with the same dynamics, it's able to use its superglue capability to damp those oscillations and bring back the RE plants back into operations. Or when it comes to mitigating the frequency drops, we have a proof from Taiwan. The same kind of frequency drop what the plants in India are facing. It was something similar event with the 40% of Taiwan losing its power, but the plants with the SMA inverters are able to restore the frequency within 12 seconds when this incident happened. So that's where we stand. We have the capability to offer stability to the grid, but when it comes to in comparison with the rotating machines, where do we stand? Is it sufficient? Like, yes, we in the beginning we were following the grid. Like we know PV inverters should work in the grid following mode, but on a slightly technical side of the things. But we've been following the grid, and now we have seen some examples how the advanced capabilities of the inverters can support the grid. But still, when in comparison to the rotating machines, are we good? Are we fully there? Maybe not, because the rotating machines have something by virtue of physics called inertia, and they are able to. We've been enjoying all this inertia and the synchronous fault currents and other technical terms that from which we can derive stability to our power grid for last 100 years. And now their share is going down, and we are dependent on the power electronics to emulate the same behavior. And this is one step ahead of grid just supporting. The advanced supports what we just saw may not be sufficient. And we need to form the grid instead of just supporting the grid. The power electronics, the RE plants that go into operation today, they need to support. Then it's not sufficient if they support the grid. They also need to form the grid, and kind of very fundamental when we talk about ambitions. 2030, 2040, 2070, we have ambitions. Someday we are going to go for 100% RE. When that day comes, the fundamental of the power systems will, who is the master, who is forming the grid. At that point of time, all the rotating machines would have disappeared. Now, who is forming the grid? All the plants that have gone into operation year on year from today or from yesterday, they should have the capability to upgrade themselves and form the grid. That those are the synchronous sources of the future. And this is the direction in which many market designs and many grid codes are getting adapted around the world for some regions like South Africa, UK, Germany, Australia. There are market mechanisms that are putting big power plants. You can already see it is already a gigawatt scale market. It's not in the pilot phases or some test benches. It's a gigawatt scale market, and many markets are evolving their grid codes or evolving their market mechanism to make their RE plants. Maybe it's PV plus storage or PV plus wind plus storage, it doesn't matter, but the whole plant should be synchronous capable, not just follow the grid, but also it has to form the grid. And we can proudly say, so far as of today, there is also another project in US, and all these projects, SMA has 100% market share in supplying this particular technology. Which means we are talking about in the past just a PV inverter, or in the present, which is supporting the grids with with advanced stability mechanisms, or in the future, which is the RE plants or the inverters that are capable of acting like a synchronous machines or emulating the behavior of the synchronous machines. And we are not talking about three different systems. We are just talking about one platform or one device that can upgrade itself as per the needs as a retrofit measure on the field. And imagine India is adding 10 to 15 gigawatt of these power electronics every year into our grids. At least half of them are large scale, connected to the medium voltage systems. And if they are, by a click of a button, tomorrow they can form, they are ready to form or ready to behave like a synchronous machines. That is the path to 100% RE with stable grids. There are many factors in the value chain like finance and manufacturing scaling. Often in this kind of forum, every aspect gets addressed, but not the foundational aspect, like which is a technology slightly on the nerdy side, so it often gets ignored. And that's why we wanted to use this opportunity to show that the technology is already there. It's a gigawatt scale technology, and instead of just supporting the grid, we can skip the curve and go to the grid forming if required. It's just a matter of upgrading the software of the RE plants and ensuring that the hardware and the topology of the RE plants are designed in the right fit to enable the synchronous capability of these plants. What it means is skip the curve is this technology was not available 4 years ago or 5 years ago. And everyone has to support the grid across the world, and they have learned from the lessons, and they have upgraded the technology to grid forming, and now the technology is there. We don't need to follow the same kind of 20 to 30% RE penetration, call for the support, and when you go to 60 to 70% RE penetration, call for synchronous support. So this learning path we can skip. India is somewhere around 20-30% RE penetration, but it's just a matter of adapting the technology. If you recall from the earlier presentation, how India 40 years ago adapted HVDC technology way ahead of so many other markets, and that is streamlining so much of RE integration into the mainstream grid today. That is also an excellent example of how emerging countries or India are in a well position to leverage the technology adaptation way ahead of other markets. So they learn and we can adapt from the, they learn and they develop the technology, and we are ready to adapt it, and we can skip the curve. So we have the ability to leapfrog the technology. This is another example. What I can point out. India never had 3G. It was just a touch and go. We had 2G, and then we are at 4G, and now it's 5G. We heard about the term 3G, but it was just a touch and go. So this is an excellent example of how India can leapfrog the technology adaptation and skip the curve. The same way we can do for our power sector as well. The grid forming technology is already there. It's a gigawatt scale technology. It's not an additional capex, or it's not. It's a purely retrofit, pure and plug and play retrofit on-site solutions, which we can adapt without putting a hole in the pocket or additional capex. And this is what SMA is about. We have 43 years of experience in setting the standards for the industry, which is often followed or which is often adapted. And about SMA, I just leave it open because there is another presentation from my colleague that he will take you through. But the main message, what I want the forum or the think tanks here to take home is that is our RE plan sufficient for the grid stability? Yeah? Or we have shown the technology is ready, but it's just a matter of adapting it and leapfrogging the curve. Thank you.